Hi friend, today I'm going to do a flip through of the book Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And I'm just going to flip through the book and show you what it's like inside. I'd like to do a separate video of a review of the curriculum and this method of teaching your child to read, just my own take on that and what I think about it. Okay, so let's flip through Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And to start with, there is an introduction, and it tells you all about DISTAR and where it came from. DISTAR is an acronym for Direct Instructional System for Teaching and Remediation, and it just walks you through how this book is an adaptation of the DISTAR Fast Cycle Reading Program. So this book is specifically written for a parent to teach their child. And a parent with no training or background in any sort of education, you can sit down with this book and teach your child to read. The purpose of this book is to take the complex skill of reading and to make it a simplified process that the parent just opens up the book and uses it with the child. You don't need any other charts or graphs or flashcards, maybe something to write with as you teach your child to write the letters while they're learning the sounds. But other than that, this is a complete reading program all in one. So this just works through the purpose of this book, the research behind it, and how it is laid out, the importance of why it's laid out in the certain way that it is, and how it introduces things in very small increments and yet builds on them. The things that are introduced at the beginning may not necessarily be what you're doing at the end, but there's a distinct progression to get from one point to the next. So it talks about the orthography of the DISTAR program and how the letter sounds are presented in something that would look different from what you would find in a reading program. And the DISTAR orthography is something that I really appreciate about this curriculum, is how it takes a sound sh that you would make from an SH. It changes the way that the SH looks so that the child easily decodes the sound sh whenever the SH is together. And so that's just a very simple example of how they have simplified the sounds of the English language and really make it simple to teach and easy to grasp for the child. So there's a lot of information in these first few pages, and then there's a pronunciation guide. And if there's ever a question about how you're to teach something or how you need to pronounce it as you're teaching it in the lesson, you could always flip back to this guide and know exactly how you're supposed to be saying the sound that you're teaching to the child in the lesson. And this just walks you through how to teach, the exact steps of where to start, what to say. So these first few pages are just full of really helpful, interesting information if you're interested in knowing the process and the research behind how this program is put together. So next they walk you through exactly how you're going to write the sounds that you're going to teach your child throughout the program. So start with a horizontal line for writing E. Do not make the long line over the E. So even though they're learning the sound E, whenever they see that, you don't make the long line over it. And they specifically set forth what you need to do so that it avoids any pitfalls or problems that could come up. So this is also a really great resource if you are stumped or have questions about exactly how you should be writing the sounds for your child to learn. And then you just begin the lessons. And the things that you say to the child is in red. And this book just literally walks you through step by step what you do as you teach your child the sounds. And so it tells you what to do. Point to the M. And then you say the words in red. I'm going to touch under the sound and say the sound. Your turn to say the sound when I touch under it. So then it gives you information to correct a child. Maybe they're saying it wrong or they're not responding. Then they give you what to do, how to correct the problem. And so they walk you through step by step what you need to do, how to say it, how to introduce it, if there's a correction that's needed, how you go about making that correction. It's a very open and go. You never have to wonder am I introducing this correctly? Am I saying something that's going to make them confused later on, or something that's they don't understand? They walk you through exactly what to do, exactly what to say, how to correct a problem if it comes up. And then you get to the end of the lesson and then you write the sounds. And they walk you through exactly how to write the sounds for the child and how that they can practice that. And then you move on to lesson 2. And it's not until lesson, I think, 13 where the child is reading a story. See if I can find lesson 13. So by lesson 13, you are reviewing all of these sounds, you're rhyming with using these letters, you are practicing saying sounds, you're also reading words, and by you, I mean your child, your student, and they're doing it themselves, and then they are also reading, first reading. So this is what they'll read for lesson 13, and then there's comprehension questions to go along with what they read and what they see in the picture. And then they conclude the lesson with sound writing. And so here we are, 13 lessons in, and your child is reading. So here we have lesson 61, and you'll notice that the orthography is still a little bit different. They have the smaller E because it's a silent E. They're blending the ing. They have the AR underlined, so recognize that as the R sound. And they're still using the modified orthography for your child to read. However, if you look just a few lessons farther, let's look here. The Fat Man That Never Came Back, and this is in lesson 74. You are reading a story that the child has already read in the book, and so they're familiar with the story, and yet there's no special orthography here. They're looking at the words and reading the book. Now, it's something that they're familiar with because, like I said, it's a story that they read a few lessons back, but yet you have them beginning the process of seeing words that they would see. They're words that they're really familiar with at this point, and yet they're able to look at them as they would be printed in any other book at any other place and make the connection. So lesson 99, we have word reading the fast way, first reading, second reading. We have picture comprehension and then writing letters. And that is pretty much the format of the entire book here. I hope you found this video to be helpful and informative, and don't forget to subscribe to Born for Homeschool because my next few videos will be a review of this book, and also it will be a real life example of a lesson that I teach through this book. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again in my next video.